you guys?
Oh, you know.
Yeah, it's been like a day since we've talked.
It's been
right?
so long. Yeah,
It's been a while.
it's been a while.
We probably should be like introducing ourselves each episode because they're going to be released episodically.
Yeah, but
so...
who's going to jump
No.
into like the third part of the
Yeah,
never
let's
know.
just listen to the third one.
That's fair. That's fair.
The category.
If you're
Someone's
just
not gonna care
joining
about
us,
indie
and
games.
I don't know why you would be.
Yeah,
I mean, Ron can add intros in post. It's fine.
I'll add like the intro music and stuff.
Ron, just cut and
Let's
paste the
talk
first
about
10
let's
minutes
talk about
of
the process of building a podcast during this right here.
Yeah, Ron, just cut and paste the first 10 minutes of the first part we did onto each of
Yes,
these.
exactly.
Everyone.
Including
I don't
all
think
the
we got to our
bullshit
names until
tangents.
After 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's true. We actually did
All
the
right.
categories before our names, I think.
So this is episode 3, I guess. Biggest disappointment, best multiplayer, and biggest
surprise.
Which
My
is the one
bad.
we're starting with.
We're starting with what I said last, and we're not doing it in the order that I said
Fucking
at all.
Okay, this is going to mean nothing to anyone, but recording the thing you do last first makes perfect sense to me.
Okay.
Okay, all right, let's move on. Good talk.
That's a deep cut for anyone who listens to my podcasts.
Sure. Oh yeah, we didn't mention the Joel
We
House
can add-
podcast.
we can
I
add
figured
that
we
in.
talk plugs at the end.
Yeah.
Or we could talk about it at the beginning of the game of the year, what everyone cares about
Yeah.
anyway. So
Anyway.
all right. So biggest surprise. So we kind of just put random stuff down for both biggest surprising and biggest disappointment.
I mean,
They're not
this is-
necessarily.
I wouldn't say it's random. It's just these are more about events that happened within the gaming space this year rather than
Yes,
specifically games.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that we thought were either surprises or disappointments. So
Yep. Okay. So I'll read off the list here that we have. So the Switch's success, Mario and Rabbids actually being a good game
Joel's gonna boo that.
that Joel does not agree on.
We'll talk about it when we talk about it.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 actually releasing in 2017.
Yep.
Metroid Prime 4's announcement.
I would
Automata's
add.
success.
Sorry to interrupt, but I would add the
Yeah.
Samus Returns existing on there as well. 'cause
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't- like as the same thing, like just all the Metroid announcements in that segment.
It was announced in the same space. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so Samus Returns announcement / release. Near Autonomous success. A Hat in Time being way better than Ukulele. The success of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. XCOM 2 War of the Chosen DLC, which we can expand on later. Ballads of the Champions Zelda DLC dropping the same day as the first trailer that we got for it at the Video Game Awards. Bayonetta 3 announcement after Bayonetta 1 and 2 remakes announced for the Switch, also at the Video Game Awards. And Assassin's Creed's remake. There's a lot going on there.
Processes
Sorry.
there, yeah.
Alright, so Assassin's Creed's revamp of the franchise, essentially.
Assassin's Creed.
So I grouped the
Assassin's
Metroid
Creed.
categories together into one, just said the Return of Metroid.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
sure.
is I think Joel's trying to say. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So
So,
what are we feeling?
what was the least surprising of these?
I mean, for me, I wasn't.
The Switch's success, honestly.
Yeah, like
What's
the
that?
Switch being a success wasn't that surprising. It only feels crazy compared to how poorly Nintendo like marketed their shit last gen
Yeah.
or earlier
I
this
wasn't,
gen, however you want to look at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily surprised because with like Nintendo consoles, it's like you have the N64 which sold really well, the GameCube sold like crap, the Wii sold really well, the Wii U sold
Yeah,
like crap.
they're really
so it makes
feast-
sense that they've hit it.
Well, they're
The
really
TikTok cycle.
well. Also, they're just really feast or famine. Like when they do well, they do really
Yeah.
well, and when they do
Yeah.
poorly,
Yeah.
it's like ridiculous how badly they do. So
It's,
garbage.
it's,
Switch
it's like
successor will
people
be
are
garbage.
saying they should get rid of their hardware and just make games.
Yeah.
Or people are saying like they're the only ones doing anything innovative in hardware.
right,
So,
neither of those statements are particularly true, but it's just kind of how everyone approaches.
It's seasonal.
Right.
Yeah. It's exactly.
So
So yeah,
I-
we can get rid of that.
I think it's definitely worth mentioning just how fucking successful it was.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this has been a
It's insane.
ridiculously
Yeah, exactly.
good year for Nintendo.
You know
Yeah.
that the Switch is now the fastest selling console of all time.
That's more surprising.
In the
Yeah.
US.
Well,
Yeah.
In the US,
and
I should
honestly,
say, yeah.
honestly, I think the
Put
biggest,
on the list.
I think the biggest like, I guess the biggest thing that is surprising about the Switch is just how well third parties are doing on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
not only is the amount of third-party content that's being released for it really good, but like they've been good ports. They've been good ways to play the game. It's not like in
Yeah,
the Wii.
like we have Doom, we have Skyrim
Yeah.
on Switch.
And it's not like
LA
the
Noire.
Wii era where everyone was porting everything to the Wii because everyone had a Wii, but the ports were garbage.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the Switch is the definitive place to play a lot of indie games, for instance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like indie games, especially,
I
are
agree.
like blowing up on Switch. Yeah. So you want to explain XCOM 2?
Yeah, why is that on
Okay.
the list?
I put it on the list because the expansion to the base game XCOM 2 felt like an entire new game to itself, and I'm starting to think that I might be the only one who was surprised by it. But
Well, I have no idea because I've never played XCOM 2.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being on here.
No, yeah, once
I know plenty of people who thought XCOM 2 was fine, like, and the thing is, that's a Firaxis game, right?
Yep, Fire Access.
Yeah, they kind of have a. I mean, they're definitely well known for releasing kind of bare bones or mediocre original base products and then putting out great expansions for it.
Yeah.
Every
Just like
Civilization game
Paradox.
follows that cycle. My understanding is the
true.
first XCOM was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a surprise that the base game was actually really good, and then they just released so much content that adds to the overall experience.
Sure.
Yeah,
Did you
I
play
guess
on consoles.
Yeah, I
I
played
played
on
on
PS4.
PS4. Yeah.
I guess I just don't find that surprising because that's kind of their modus operandi. Is
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to add a
that's
whole
what I'm
bunch of
saying, it might
content
be
post development.
More of a surprise to me.
I
when
think it's worth
played through it.
mentioning. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning.
I don't know that it's
Just like-
really surprising to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Just like the Switch success, that was worth mentioning. So yeah,
Are we cool getting rid of it?
yeah.
Yep.
I also don't
So-
think Ballad of Champions dropping the same day as the trailer was that surprising. We had heard nothing about that for so long,
Yeah.
and it had been in development for so long, like, it had to have been coming soon.
So to be fair, I knew it was releasing that month. I just didn't expect it the night of.
Nintendo also has pulled the "you can play it right now" card plenty of times in directs before.
But very
Yeah.
rarely has it been a big game.
I mean, it's
Like,
DLC.
And this wasn't a
It's
game though. This was a
It's
DLC.
a DLC.
To be
that
fair, it's a
everyone knew was
DLC
coming.
to one of the most acclaimed games of all time, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's not, but it's not like they were hiding Zelda Breath of the Wild behind
Right.
Just Dance 2018
Yeah,
in
like,
Walmart.
it's very
Right?
clear in retrospect that they'd specifically been sitting on all their details about it so they could do this.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't
I'm not
tell us
saying it needs to be
anything
on the
about
list
it
either.
beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm okay with getting rid of it.
we can get rid of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool. It was definitely cool, and it's the kind of thing I want to see more surprises like, but it wasn't that shocking.
I
So-
wanna get-
Similar vein, what about Bayonetta then?
I think that announcement. I think the Bayonetta announcement at least surprised me.
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
I
expecting
don't
that.
think anyone was expecting Bayonetta 3, to be
Okay.
honest.
No.
And in all honesty, I was very surprised that they announced the remakes of 1 and 2, and then also announced Bayonetta 3
Okay.
all at the same time.
But the
Yeah.
combination of it, yes.
Yeah, like,
I was
that was
surprised
a-
by that.
It was a
It
good-
all added to this.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like, when we
really a-
saw Bayo 1 and 2, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're porting it. That makes sense. Perfect sense.
And then
they're
I was
oh,
like,
here's
so
the-
eventually we'll get 3 potentially. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we also have 3 right here.
Yeah, that was
Here's
a,
the
right
announcement.
it was a well done reveal because like they set you up to not expect more and then gave you more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It only makes
So
sense, because Nintendo's just trying to thrive off of their, like, high right now. They're just continuing to
Yeah.
push that, so...
I'd like to make an argument that a Hat in Time being way better than Ukulele isn't necessarily that much of a surprise because they're both like Kickstarter games, right?
Honestly,
And Kickstarter games have honestly always been hit or miss.
well, honestly,
That's
the Hat in Time has been in development for so long. Part of the surprise was Hat in Time coming out.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair.
It came out after Ukulele, too, is the funny part. Which was
And
announced
honestly,
way
that kind
after.
of makes it less surprising because it had a lot more time in the oven.
That's true. I mean, I'm okay with getting rid of it. I was surprised, personally, because of the hype that was around Ukulele.
Yeah.
like
How Hat in Time almost nobody knew about.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that factor of Ukulele had the buzz of, hey, these are the Banjo-Kazooie guys making a new Banjo-Kazooie. This is going to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd also like to talk about Xenoblade releasing in 2017. I know it was a surprise.
That
but
is,
they also,
I think, mostly there for my benefit.
well, and I'm surprised by it too because I honestly 100% didn't think it was going to release.
Especially in the year of the other games that they put out
Yeah.
this year.
But they also announced early in the year that it was going to release in 2017,
Right, but-
and they just kept their word.
Right, but that's the thing.
But
like,
that's the surprising part.
that's
never
the
have
thing. Like
before.
that never happens, and especially with like Xenoblade, as massive of a game as that is, like I was pretty convinced that they're gonna delay it. They're gonna delay it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially
Well,
since it was
then-
announced this year. Like it came out
I
the same
don't-
year as announced.
I don't think it's the biggest surprise of the year, but
No.
I appreciate that it was on there because I was saying up through like November, they're gonna delay it.
So we can get rid of it.
I mean,
Or
it
no?
doesn't have to stay on.
That's fine.
Okay.
I want to get rid of Nier Automata's success.
Yeah, we can tell you've been highlighting it a bunch.
I want to point out that the original Nier was pretty much shit on a lot. From what I've heard, it's kind of a mediocre game. And then Nier Automata coming out and being like, this is an amazing game now. What's his name? Yoko Taro is freaking crazy. And I don't know, he just made a really good game to a really good sequel to a game. Kind of sequel. It's different characters completely, but
Spiritual successor.
yeah. Well, I mean, same name, but yeah, it's a successful game that was actually really good compared to the first game, and so I think that aspect of it is surprising. But I don't.
It's definitely worth mentioning because the original Nier is what you'd call a cult classic. The people who played it love it,
exactly.
but nobody played it. And Nier Automata, meanwhile, is like everyone's talking about it.
Yep,
Yeah.
it blew up surprisingly. So
Yeah. All
I
right.
did not expect that. So we got 5 things left.
Yeah. Do we want to go over them again? I guess we can.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we have Mario Rabbids actually being good, the return of Metroid, the success of PUBG, Bayonetta 3 announcement, as well as the Bayonetta. God damn it.
Bayonetta.
Bayonetta 1 and 2 remake announcement.
But I hope we
and-
put some apostrophes in there.
Yeah,
Bayonetta's.
probably not. Yeah.
Bayonetta's.
And Assassin's Creed's revamp. See, I got that one right this time.
You did it.
Did the news that Pokemon's coming to the Switch come out this year?
Yes.
Is that a surprise to anyone?
No,
I didn't. I was not
No.
surprised.
That's
everyone expected that.
The opposite. The only reason they did that is because they had a Pokemon Direct and they didn't announce it then.
True.
And the people
Yeah, okay.
were pissed. So they're like, okay, we're making one.
Yeah, it's like,
Jesus
just
Christ.
relax, guys. It's gonna happen. Chill out.
Calm the fuck down.
No, yeah, I saw that just because they are end of lifing the 3DS, and we knew they were.
So here's the
and we
thing:
hadn't
Not
heard
really.
they
anything
aren't,
else.
according to them. Like they still have content coming out for it this year, and they still talk about it like a supported product.
There's a rumor
Because
that
this is the last
Zelda
year.
remake is coming out for 3DS next year. So
Well, maybe they won't.
a
But yeah,
remake to Link's Awakening, apparently.
Oh.
That is,
Anyway,
that is
so-
such a rumor at this point that it's probably not worth expanding on.
Yeah.
I don't really think any of these are necessarily less or more surprising than others.
Right? Yeah, like I don't personally like Mario plus Rabbids, but I don't think it's a bad game. Like it very clearly does what it's trying to do well. And
Yes.
it is surprising that what feels like such an obvious like cross promotional like cash in
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
as well polished as it is.
So I
but-
think this deserves to be on the list just because of the fact that everyone was shitting on it.
Right.
And that when it was leaked
Yeah.
and then it came out, or like the actual reveal trailer, everyone's like, oh my god, this looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's. I would never have it. If you would have told me that Mario and Rabbids, like, was getting a game together, and then you told me that
You
the game
think
was
would.
good.
Well,
You
and
I'd
then
be
you
like,
well,
you're fucking
okay,
high.
okay, and the middle
Not
step
bad,
of you
sorry.
told me that it was going to be an almost an XCOM-esque tactical
Yeah.
game. Like that would have been the part that really gave me pause. Like, wait, what?
You can almost say just Mario Rabbids actually like being what it is. Like
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like when they first announced it sounded like a mini game collection, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I originally thought it was going to be. When we saw Mario
On a
Rabbids.
very similar note, the success of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Like,
I think that
this-
has to be on the list.
no, yeah, no,
think-
I'm saying it's,
honestly, that's
it's surprising in the
Yeah.
same way Mario plus Rabbids is, because it's not
Yeah.
something you would have expected to blow up the way it did.
I'm not sure, like, blowing up, I kind of would have expected that, but not blowing up to the rate that it's now 3 million players.
This is the highest played
And-
game ever on
It
Steam.
didn't just
Yeah.
it didn't just blow up as a flash in the pan. Oh hey, everyone's playing this for a couple of weeks. Like
Yeah.
major video game
exploded and
streaming
stayed.
sites are still playing this game on a weekly basis for streams. Like it's
Yep.
ridiculous.
Yeah. No,
It-
People
Toppled
build careers
Dota
off
2.
playing this game now.
yeah.
So, I agree. I think it's huge. And
I think
Honestly,
PUBG
I
is
think
on
that
this
one's a
list.
lock.
Yeah, I think
that
PUBG
one's
is
a
on this
lock.
list, and I almost say Mario Rabbids is on this
Is
list.
this
too,
even
but-
something that needs to be ranked a 1, 2, 3?
that's what I'm just
No.
gonna say. Can we
Not
just
really,
say
I
biggest
guess, but-
surprises and then
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like my personal biggest surprise was the Samus Returns coming out and them announcing Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Like,
That
I
was huge.
honestly was not expecting. Like, I thought they'd maybe make a Metroid game on the Switch at some point. I wasn't expecting a 3DS Metroid game this year, and Metroid Prime 4 already in development. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree. And then the only thing we haven't talked about is Assassin's Creed's revamp.
I don't
if you
think
guys-
it's a biggest surprise of the year, but I think it's definitely worth remarking that
It's a
Yeah,
surprise.
Ubisoft-
it's just like saying
Ubisoft said they were taking a step back from releasing the franchise yearly, and it actually paid off. And like they
Yeah, that's
came back with the freshest Assassin's Creed in ages.
Yep.
so good on them.
I will say that Assassin's Creed Origins is basically like Witcher 3 Lite. They kind of just copied a bunch of stuff from Witcher 3 and put it in Assassin's Creed.
I mean,
but it's
I'm
really
gonna-
well done.
Here's a hot insider scoop about Ubisoft's upcoming developing games.
They're copying things.
Expect a lot of games that are taking explicit cues from other popular things this year.
Yeah.
No, couldn't
Yeah.
be.
I mean, that's a lot of studios, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Oh
a lot
yeah.
of big studios.
All right, so are we changing this to biggest surprises and then just keeping
Yeah,
these?
honestly, I think
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3 and Assassin's Creed don't need to be on the list, but
I'm
I
cool
don't
with
think we
that.
need to rank.
I'm okay with that too.
I don't think we need to rank the other three because they're all
All right.
pretty
Yeah,
notable.
they're pretty big. Yeah.
So our biggest surprises: Mario Rabbids actually being good or not being bad, however you want to say that.
Yeah, being a good
Being
game.
what it is.
Yeah, it's a good game. The return of Metroid and the success of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
PUBG.
And that Khloe Kardashian is pregnant.
What?
Oh my god.
What?
No.
I was gonna
way.
say how's that related to video games, but I guarantee you there's a mobile game out there where like you.
Oh,
Khloe
100%.
Kardashian
There will
is
be.
pregnant. Like,
I'm sure there will be. Don't worry.
All right. So we can move on to biggest disappointment of the year. Or we'll
Yay.
probably do biggest disappointments.
Appointments. Yeah.
Because we're going to do the same way. So I'm just going to go through the list. If that's fine.
Go for it.
1-2 Switch not being bundled with the Switch.
Mhm.
Battlefront 2's loot box system. Matt still hasn't played Doom.
For shame.
Mass Effect Andromeda's animations plus bugs. Launch, basically, is what you could say.
Yeah.
Uh,
And no longer is being supported.
yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
add
God.
on that like the biggest, honestly, the biggest thing for me is how they seem to
How
be
quickly it
throwing
died.
Mass Effect to the wolves.
Yep.
I'm just saying Mass Effect Andromeda then.
Yeah.
2K17. Microsoft's lack of first-party games. Destiny 2 not changing enough from the first. Because, yeah. Ultra
Ron
Sun and
hates
Ultra
Destiny.
Moon not being different enough from the originals. South Park Fractured But Whole being kind of dumb. Splatoon 2 not changing enough from the first game.
I'm here sensing a trend here.
I mean, I told you I wrote all these. No one added to them. So, Ukulele being a disappointing game, and okay, Hy-Vee not sponsoring us.
That's a podcast specific thing. It's fine.
Yeah, that's- Goodbye.
All right.
Come on,
yeah, we can get rid
Hy-Vee.
of that. Can I change 1-2 Switch? Can
Go
I
ahead.
just say the handling of 1-2 Switch?
Yeah.
Because it's not only that it wasn't bundled with the Switch,
It was
it
a
was
$60
also
game.
that it was a $60 game.
Yeah, no.
If it was a
It's actually
$20 game,
$50.
I would have
50.
probably bought it. 50, whatever. If it was $20, I probably would have considered buying it, but
Yeah.
it was basically a
Yeah,
full
I mean,
price game.
honestly,
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a bundle just because it seems like the kind of thing they've done. Like it's the
Oh,
Wii
yeah.
Sports
Yeah, it's like a Wii Sports. Yeah.
of this generation, but I understand why it wasn't. Because they were insistent on selling the Switch at a profit and bundling the game. The development costs of that game, as minimal as the game is, probably would have thrown off the price point of the Switch.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush things, but can I eliminate all four of these?
right,
I want
that's-
to actually touch on Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Okay.
And then
The
you
other
can
ones,
remove it.
other three, yeah.
I still haven't beaten it just because there's been so many games lately. I've been kind of taking my time with it, but I like most of the changes. I like most of the additions. The problems I had with Pokemon Sun and Moon are still there, but if this had been the version of the game that they released last year, I would have been a lot more positive on my experience overall.
Yeah. Well, you said Sun and Moon were your least favorite Pokemon games, right?
There's elements of them that I absolutely love, but overall, it felt like playing it was often a chore. I got a lot more
Yeah.
enjoyment out of the doing post-game stuff in there than I did out of actually playing the core game.
Sure.
I'm enjoying it as like a second run. Like I was about ready to do a second run of the games anyway, and the originals were too tedious to get going that I just never
Yeah.
did.
It's so slow. All the
Yep.
It takes
freaking
forever to
cutscenes and-
start.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like I think it's a great like upgrade. It's just it wasn't enough, and for them to release a year later, like the version of it that it should have been in the first place is just
Yeah.
not great.
It's too handholdy. That's the biggest problem with the game. I think it'd be a lot more fun if they gave you more freedom.
And it places way too much emphasis on the like. I don't want to say the story because it's barely a story, but like the trying to create the whole experience of doing the trials is more important to them than actually having a bunch of Pokemon gameplay.
All I wanted was them to make Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and put gyms in instead of trials. That's all I wanted.
I think that would have been a great change.
I think the trials
Not saying that
are dumb.
the trials are kind of dumb, but they could have.
I appreciate what they tried to do with the trials. They just
No, I appreciate
put-
it. I just don't like
they
it
just
very
put
much.
way too much effort into, like I said, the experience of it. Like it at no point does
Yeah.
it feel like you're just being let loose to play a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, and then the other three that Ron had highlighted because nobody else can see it is Destiny 2 not changing it up from the first, which I don't think anybody was expecting it to change that
Well,
much. Just
the
maybe
disappointment doesn't
adding
have
a-
to be on a surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can be
I
disappointed
agree.
because something went the way I expected it to.
I was hoping that they would have done well.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah,
I think
better
we've
than
I
they
think
did
we've
from the
I
first
think
game.
we've covered Ron's complaints.
We
with that.
touched on it a lot though,
Yeah.
so we don't need to go. That's why
Ron's
I
hatred of
highlighted all these.
Destiny.
I just wanted to be mentioned.
South Park, The Fractured But Whole being kind of dumb. I'd actually like to see this stay on the list because I was extremely personally disappointed.
Okay,
But-
like I mean we've talked about it a bit already,
That's
but
fine.
it doesn't need to be eliminated yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one that he was talking about was Splatoon 2 not changing enough from the first game. Which I guess I wasn't super disappointed because Splatoon
Yeah.
is still
Yeah.
fun.
People,
I was-
I think for the general consensus is people are fine with what Splatoon was, and they
Personally,
just
yeah.
wanted it on
Personally,
Switch.
like the way Splatoon 1 was kind of handled, it felt like it was the like the. It almost felt like it was Splatoon 0 and this is Splatoon 1 in a way. Like
Yeah. It felt like the pilot episode
Right.
of...
so like
Yeah,
this is
like, that's what it was.
Splatoon 2 is exactly what I kind of expected and wanted it to be.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, but so we're going to take it
I
off,
would
though.
take it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Right.
my biggest disappointment was it is they didn't do a more thorough campaign. That's what I
Right.
really
Yeah. No.
wanted out of the
I
game.
will. I'm going to rep my friend Zach here for a minute and say that one disappointing thing was that they kept the rotating, 2 maps or 2 modes or whatever thing for multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yes.
The-
That was the number
multiplayer
one
stuff
thing
is
he
so bad.
hated about Splatoon 1 because like if you don't have that much time to spend playing games and there's like one or
games.
2 modes that you actually like, there are huge swaths of time where you just don't want to play multiplayer because they don't have
Well,
anything you
yeah.
like.
And you can't party up in Splatoon still.
Yeah.
Like me and Matt wanted to play with each other. We could join each other's games, but we couldn't be in the same team every time, so it was random
Yep.
every game.
Yeah,
That
that
That was
sucks.
stupid.
That was
And,
terrible.
and to what Joel is saying, I wouldn't have even cared if the maps were rotating, but I want to be able to play a specific game mode if I
Right, yeah,
want
the
to.
fact that you
Yeah.
can only play salmon runs sometimes is really dumb.
Yeah.
That's super stupid, yeah.
Alright, so Matt still hasn't played Doom. I mean,
We can get rid of it. It's a joke.
okay.
That's my biggest.
It's a
That's
meme.
my number one.
So what if we can only get rid of it when he plays Doom?
Oh,
So like boot up the game, start playing.
Start playing now.
I mean, I'm playing OG Doom. We'll beat
Aren't
that
you-
before
yeah, you guys are
2016
playing-
Doom.
We're playing Classic Doom this year, so yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, I want to now request that you play through the entire Doom franchise in release order.
Okay, I can try.
He's already failed because he's playing Ultimate Doom.
Yeah, that's true. But that's still OG Doom
That's
for the
fine.
most
Yeah.
part.
I will
There's just additional levels.
I
at
will
the end of it,
begrudgingly
so.
accept like upgraded versions.
Okay, sounds good. I can handle this.
Okay, so what's,
Go
I
a,
would say-
what's a lock on this list? That's what I guess. what I would say.
I kind of
What?
Battlefront 2. I
2
think
and
is
Mass
definitely
Effect.
a lock, and Mass Effect is probably definitely a
Yeah,
lock. As
no,
well.
I want to expand a little bit on my expansion of Mass Effect. In
Ben
that
likes
I
Mass Effect.
no, I don't necessarily. I know plenty of people who enjoyed the game. I think you can enjoy that game. I don't think the problems with it are necessarily crippling to your enjoyment of the game. What I'm
Yeah.
disappointed in is the fact that
They abandoned it.
well, not just the whole thing with Mass Effect. They threw it to a different
Oh,
team,
yeah.
a rookie team, did not give them time. So of course it came out buggy and not unfinished, unpolished, and then they decided, well, this wasn't very good, and it got mixed results, so we're just going to kind of step away from it. Like, every step of that felt like an assassination of the Mass Effect franchise.
Yeah. And it's a bummer because people were super hyped for it. I actually thought it looked really good when the first trailers came out.
I know a lot of people who played through the whole thing and still love it.
Oh yeah, so do I. But it was
it's
just
a fun game. It just felt the whole game felt rushed. Everything about it.
It was buggy, right?
Right, and it's especially disappointing coming off Mass Effect 3, which was very divisive. Like, this was their chance to do their Dragon Age Inquisition, which came off of a divisive entry in that franchise and got a ton of like critical reception.
Yeah.
Well, the bummer is the franchise is basically dead now too. Unless they were
right. I mean, they could come back and do something with it. Oh, I just thought of something to add to the biggest disappointments.
Oh yeah.
Square Enix throwing Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and Hitman under the bus.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's not new. It's something they've been doing for years. But like this year specifically, like, yeah, we're gonna put all this stuff on hold for our Marvel license. Deus Ex in particular really pisses me off because they gutted a bunch from Mankind Divided so that they could release another game, and then they shelved that other game.
Can you argue Tomb Raider because they've already confirmed a new one? They put out a PR thing saying we're going to show you 2 Tomb Raiders soon. We can't yet. We want to release it closer to when we show it off.
I mean, that's changed a bit since like it was all 3 of those at the time that the announcement came out. Like that.
Sure.
When I see more Tomb Raider, I will be willing to give it credit. Until
we're
then,
getting it next year.
I'm still side eyeing it because they have twice now put unrealistic expectations on that franchise and then publicly made statements about the viability of the franchise afterwards when it failed to meet. So.
It's Crystal Dynamics that makes those, right? Do they make anything else for them?
I think they're working on one of the Marvel license games.
They are working on the Marvel one, yeah.
Well, one of them, like, because they've got a bunch of Marvel games.
Yeah, multiple video games.
But they did Hitman really bad this year, and
I know. Well, they dropped it,
or did dirty, I should say, because the Hitman game is fucking fantastic.
Well, they're doing that studio is now their own. They own the IP, right? The Hitman IP, so they can do whatever they want with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm really excited / hopeful that they'll do something with it, but
IO, yeah, they bought.
But yeah, I'm most upset about Deus Ex, because I loved Mankind Divided, but it's very clear and like it definitely hurt the game overall that they stripped a bunch of stuff out of it to support a sequel that they then said we're gonna put aside.
I also have something to mention here for biggest disappointments. It doesn't have to be added to the list. We could just remove it right away. But Visceral Games basically getting destroyed by EA and
getting the EA treatment.
The only Star Wars game that I actually was kind of excited for just completely because that was by Visceral Games.
Yeah.
The Visceral Games one I was super excited for, and now it's probably not going to be anything like what it was going to be. So.
Yep.
Well, from what I heard, that stuff is still happening. It's probably just another internal studio making it.
Yeah, but I heard it's taking a completely
completely
different direction. That game has already been jerked around a bunch, and
it's got low hopes probably, but
yeah. So, yeah, we don't have to add it. I just wanted to mention it. So.
Okay, so how do we break this down to 3?
I would say to get rid of the Microsoft Live first-party games.
Yep.
That's not a disappointment. That's just
it's something that Microsoft needs to continue to be brought up, I guess. Because come on, fucking hell, Microsoft!
Come on, fucking put out some games. Put something out that's not Gears, Forza, or fucking Halo. Like seriously.
I don't feel like 1-2 Switch is necessarily the biggest disappointment of the year, especially because the Switch has done so well without it.
I agree.
It is.
I agree.
It is disappointing.
But
yeah, it is disappointing because 1-2 Switch would have been a great sort of demo of
bundle
the Switch,
like Wii Sports.
But at the same time, everyone was getting Zelda when it came out.
Also 1-2 Switch should have been given a little more polish and made into a WarioWare game.
I would totally be cool with that. Yeah.
So cool. All right.
I think we
so now we have 5. I at this point don't mind taking away the South Park. I was disappointed, but
I'm also curious about my ukulele.
Yeah, like we've talked about those. Those were disappointments, but like those are the kinds of disappointments we get every year, all the time. Like, game you were hoping was going to be good turned out to not be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically.
So that makes our biggest disappointments here the Battlefront 2's loot box system, which we didn't even talk about at all.
We should probably talk about it. It wasn't a surprise to anyone. Like
no,
but it's still a huge disappointment.
It's incredibly disappointing.
Happened.
It's incredibly disappointment that after all the hubbub with Shadow of War.
Yeah,
they didn't take a look and be like, okay, maybe we should step this back. They just
are we doing here?
Full steam ahead.
What's going on?
And two, it's a disappointment that when the shitstorm did hit and people were complaining about it, they did such a transparently shitty job of addressing everyone's concerns. And even when they did address everyone's concerns, it was at least to me, very clearly, okay, we're going to superficially address them for the time being, and then slowly change back to what we wanted once the
they've already announced. They've already said they've only temporarily disabled them. Mm-hmm. Like that's already known.
Yep.
They're going to turn them back on.
They're going to turn them back on. But I think if they had just done cosmetics for loot boxes,
people are still salty about the star cards, I guess, too, in that game where you can
apparently that's game changing.
Yeah, because you can get
basically pay to win.
Yeah, that's the biggest
super high power shit right at the beginning and just wreck people. So,
for sure.
So
wah.
So that's one of the biggest disappointments. The other two were Mass Effect Andromeda and Square Enix's handling of Deus Ex, Hitman, and Tomb Raider this year.
Yeah, Tomb Raider being given a watchful eye, they can redeem themselves by letting Crystal Dynamics put out another good one.
Especially since both the games are fantastic.
So the rumor I heard about Tomb Raider, the new one, that it might be episodic, sounds great to me. Like if they do a Hitman-esque thing where they release a region to explore every few months, that would perfectly mesh with how I play Tomb Raider.
Yeah, but Hitman was critically acclaimed, but I don't know how successful it was.
I mean,
it was okay.
I don't know.
It didn't do too bad.
Well, here's the thing: I don't ever expect Deus Ex, Hitman, or Tomb Raider to be huge sales drivers. They have been and should continue to be kind of niche titles.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Square Enix just puts undue pressure on them because their Japanese development wing bleeds money.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that's our disappointments.
Yay.
We were disappointed, boys.
So we can go on to best multiplayer now.
Yeah. Multiplayers.
Alright, in that list we have 1-2 Switch, Destiny 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, Fortnite Battle Royale, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, NBA Playgrounds, PUBG, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Snipper Clips, and Splatoon 2.
So, alright, I want to know why Ron is refusing to let Battle Royale be on Fortnite.
Yeah, because Fortnite is
Fortnite's
a single player game.
It's single player, yeah.
Can't you do co-op?
I don't know.
Is that what you want? That
those are two different games. So
I'm assuming you want the Battle Royale version of Fortnite, and not just Fortnite.
Yeah, because they're different.
Sure.
Technically, because one's free and one costs money.
They're both going to be free eventually.
Probably. Maybe.
So I feel like that's kind of splitting hairs. I want to say that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe doesn't deserve to be on this list.
I agree.
Not because the multiplayer isn't great. It's probably the best Mario Kart. It's fantastic and fun to play. But it first came out.
Except for Wii, right?
It's not from this year.
Yeah, it first came out before, and the Deluxe version doesn't really add anything to the experience.
Yep.
Fair.
It's great that we can. I like the way they handled multiplayer on the Switch. I think it's great that it can be played multiplayer on the Switch. Now let's move on.
So I wanted to mention Fortnite. I don't think we can include it yet because it's not out yet. It's still early access, basically. But I just wanted to mention it because it's gotten the same attention that PUBG has been getting. Not the same level, but
we're awarding it the most likely to be the next PUBG award.
Pretty much.
I mean, a lot of streamers have switched to Fortnite. As their main game, and it's blown up in the same way. It's also
a
successor.
All right, Ron. I want to get rid of Divinity Original Sin 2 because it's not necessarily a multiplayer game. It's fun with other people, but it's not
Primarily multiplayer.
It's not
Does that make
primarily,
sense?
but it excels that way.
It's a
and it surprises
single
me.
player game that you can play multiplayer.
co-op.
It's amazing that they're able to get everything to work in multiplayer. It's like
I'm
it's
glad
like
that
playing
it's here.
Skyrim multiplayer.
Yeah.
That's how in depth it is.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
fair.
Divinity is one of those games that's spun off the old isometric D&D games, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, that makes I feel like that's a pretty easy format to make work in co-op.
I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, we don't have to get rid of it. It's good that we're talking about it in this aspect because that is a really great part of the game. But it's not why I'm playing the game
Yeah,
necessarily.
personally, I
Right.
don't feel like a single player game that does good co-op is going to stand up against the other nominees
Okay.
here.
And then I'd also kind of like to say that NBA Playgrounds kind of fits in that argument, but I'd be willing for Ben or Ron to prove me wrong there.
I don't think NBA Playground belongs on this list.
What? Matt, you and I had so much fun playing this.
Okay, that game is amazing, but I don't
It's
think
not
it's best
amazing, though.
multiplayer. Yeah, that game is
It's
also
fun,
infuriating.
but it's a very
We had
bad game.
a lot of
I
fun
mean, by
playing
that-
multiplayer.
We
By
played
that
a lot of
argument,
packs.
I could put Super Mario 3D World as a best multiplayer game purely for
Yeah.
the fun of being the guy constantly trying to steer the dinosaur off the side of the map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I'm gonna remove NBA Playgrounds because it's
Fine.
not necessarily what the game is.
You can take it off the list, but you're out of my heart.
Okay.
Oh,
It's done. It's gone.
Ben, you will always be in my
easiest
heart.
decision
Okay.
to make.
I don't know if anyone else even played it this year, but Puyo Puyo Tetris should probably go.
Didn't play it, but I would.
I
be fine
understand
with
the
it.
multiplayer is great. Like the different modes of play are all good. The actual netcode for playing against people online
Oh
is
yeah,
great.
it's really good. Yeah, I'm just not passionate about Puyo Puyo or Tetris very much.
I
got it
have a
because
friend
I love...
who is aggressively passionate about Puyo Puyo Tetris. So I'm going to
I also do.
continue to argue it purely on your behalf, Luke. I know you'll never ever listen to this, but there you go.
But it's also probably just getting removed anyway.
Right.
So.
I mean, we could remove 1-2 Switch first, but
I was gonna bring that one up next, actually.
I don't know. I don't know that I am okay with removing 1-2 Switch, to be honest.
I only played
actually-
that one night at your house.
Because we had so much fun playing it when you guys
I feel like
came to
1-2
visit.
Switch could be an amazing party game.
It is.
It
yeah.
is an amazing party game, actually. It's an amazing.
Well, they even
drinking
have
game.
a mode that's like a board that you move up.
Yeah,
as
it's
you
a
get-
party mode.
as you
Oh,
win
cool.
stuff. Yeah,
So like a Mario Party
The-
that's actually good.
it's kind of
The
like that.
only thing that I'm gonna say about 1-2 Switch, necessarily in the multiplayer aspect, is that to have fun with it multiplayer, you have to have a big group of people in
Oh
your
yeah,
apartment.
it's all local.
Right,
But
yeah,
I don't think that's
it's all
necessarily a
local.
bad thing. But
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
it's
It's
just
just harder to play.
Right, yeah, there's not a lot of opportunities where you can experience it at its best.
Yeah.
Yes.
As opposed to most of these other games where you can play online with
Like-
people and just whenever you want to have this experience, you can have it.
Yeah. Or snipper clips, you only need one other person. So
Yeah, Snipper Clips is cool. I don't know that it's like
I'm
See,
defining
I think,
experience.
I think Super Clips is on this list. That's just me.
I also kind of agree with Ron. I'd like to see it.
It's one of
at
the more
least.
unique multiplayer games that came out this year, and that's why I'm kind
It really is cool to
board with
see
it.
a cooperative puzzle game, sort of. Like that's
Yeah.
not an area that's explored very much. I don't know.
Well,
I guess
I
I haven't played much of it. Maybe
I played both Snipper Clips and the only thing I'll say against it is I played both Snipper Clips and Overcooked with my wife this year, and we liked Overcooked way more.
yeah, I've heard
Was it-
amazing things about Overcooked.
Yeah, Overcooked
Pretty
is
fun.
Yeah, you guys played Overcooked a little bit.
A little bit.
So
Yeah.
we did, and we tried the last
Oh,
level,
yeah.
and it did badly.
I'd say Overcooked could go on this list, but it did not come out this year. It came
That's
out
what I was.
this
That's what I was
year.
going to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did a lot of talking there and didn't eliminate anything. And I'd also like to talk about Splatoon 2 because the multiplayer is great, but we also
We just
Kinda
discussed
talk-
Yeah.
what the
Honestly,
issues with it
I
were.
think
Yeah.
it can. I think it can be eliminated because of how they handle the matchmaking and
Exactly.
like
Okay.
match availability and all that. The actual
Okay, so let's
actually
take
playing
that
it
out.
great. Just fix the front end shit, guys.
So Destiny 2. What about that one?
I think the multiplayer is the best part about that game.
Yeah. No.
And
Absolutely.
It's done well.
Like the.
I know, and Ron's right, yeah, I know, but
No,
I
Ron
would
can
agree,
shut
though.
the fuck up for a second. And
I
know
would
he
agree.
hates
I haven't
the game.
even
Yeah.
been speaking.
I know, but
You grumbled, okay?
Ron,
You
shut
grumbled.
up! Fucking hell! Let us talk.
I'm sorry.
No, I would agree with that.
having
though,
an orgasm over there.
because the raids and the strikes and all that shit, and then the Crucible. That's
Yep.
kind of the crux of the game, I suppose.
Yeah, no, my only experience with Destiny 2 has been through Twitter in seeing shit that my friends have posted of them going through raids and stuff together, and
Yeah.
they have a ton of fun with it, and it's very clear that it has had a huge impact for them.
Can I say something?
Multiplayer. What? Sorry.
Go ahead. And you're still talking about
I was-
this.
I was gonna say multiplayer is like what makes the game great, and we had like it's not necessarily, in my opinion, an amazing game by any means, but the multiplayer is really good.
So I think Destiny
So.
2 is allowed to be on this list based on the soccer game.
That's also true. There's the soccer,
The
and that's
improv
amazing.
That's
soccer.
it.
How does that soccer stack up to Kung
FIFA?
Foot or whatever the thing in Rayman? Or,
I mean, it's nothing like that. The Rayman. one's way
also,
better.
Ron, I'm surprised you didn't put Rayman
Legends.
Legends on Switch in any of these lists anywhere.
Well, it's because it's not a real.
Because it's a poor.
Right, but I know
poor-
how much you love that game.
I do love that game, but
I'm surprised it doesn't have Rocket League in every category.
No, he hates
'Cause
Rocket
thank
League.
God, because it didn't come out this year,
Yeah.
or otherwise
Yeah.
it would be best shooty
I mean,
bang bang.
I'm-
Damn
Rocket
straight.
League.
I may have talked him down from the best Rocket League category.
Rocket League, best Rocket
Best
League.
best car in Rocket League.
so can I
Best
just
boost.
make a bold statement?
Yeah.
I think PUBG wins.
I
Oh,
would
well, yeah,
totally
shit.
agree
feel
with
like
that.
nobody's gonna argue that. Like
Yeah.
that game has been a multiplayer tour de force this year.
It's a
Yeah.
fucking juggernaut.
I just wanted to put it there so we have our four that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
I haven't even played it.
Like, I'm gonna say this I'm gonna friend group. The phrase "Hey, does anyone want to murder tonight?" has become a common thing because they just they played a
Yep.
lot of PUBG and they're just called
Yep.
going murdering at this point.
Going murdering.
I think Puyo Puyo Tetris kind of should go, in my opinion.
That's fair. I don't know that I can argue for it over any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's weird
I didn't
'cause I'm
talk too much
not
about it.
necessarily-
It's Tetris and it's Puyo Puyo. The story is just stupid as fuck and
Well,
ridiculous.
the story
but it's
doesn't
fun.
fucking matter for multiplayer.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But we are talking about multiplayer.
I also feel like 1-2 Switch or Snipper Clips are both good options, but both of them over Destiny 2 doesn't make any sense.
No, we have to
I
pick one.
no,
Yeah.
I think Destiny 2 is number 2 in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I would agree.
I'm okay with that.
Did we want to put Jackbox on this list?
Oh,
come out?
Fuck.
Jackbox.
Which one came out
I
this
haven't
year?
played
Jackbox
4.
4.
I played 4.
I
has
played
two
it.
good games on it.
What's in Jackbox 4? Because that's going to decide for me if
So
it's
there's a
Fibbage.
new version of
Fibbage.
Fibbage,
Yep.
Yeah,
which is
Fibbage.
fantastic.
Yes, it's
Probably the
actually
most
really
fun I've
great.
had, most non-TKO fun I've had in Jackbox has been the Fibbage personal edition or whatever they called it.
I always
Fibbage
like
3,
I always
yeah.
like Fibbage more than the other one too.
Oh, really? I love Clip
Fibbage
Lash.
is fun.
That's
Survive
probably
the
the
Internet was actually really fun. That's the one. that
Surviving
we
the Internet?
played.
There's also Monster Seeking Monster, apparently.
Yeah, I don't
Rocketeering
like
and
Monster
Civil
Seeking
War.
Monster.
Didn't I buy it for Switch?
I don't. Oh yeah, you did.
No, you bought you
I
bought
bought 3,
3.
I think.
Oh, you bought.
You bought 3.
Yeah.
3 is, in my opinion, the best one.
Well, yeah, 3 has the
But-
definitive Jackbox experience, which is TKO.
Sure.
Like,
So,
TKO kind of takes the best elements of previous Jackbox games and combines them. Like, it's the one
If
that we
this-
always go back to.
If we were talking about Jackbox 3, I'd say 100% it needs to be on this list, but it's not.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
don't
saying
see
no.
Jackbox 4 being better than any of what's left on the list, but it should have been nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, so it kind of was. And then we were just
Honorable
eliminating it.
mention.
Yeah,
I really want them to just make a Jackbox collection.
they really should just
Everything,
collect
the way
the.
that they release.
Well, yeah, they should.
They should just keep releasing games for the same game. They should make a Jackbox game and then release game packs.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would. Yeah.
I'm at this point though. I'd be happy with greatest hits, where like you just have all their best games on one
At
disc.
this point, yes, for sure.
Yes.
but in the
All right.
future.
So
Yeah.
we have 1-2 Switch and Snipper Clips, and we have the 3 spot here.
So Ron, you argued I think the most passionately for both of these. Which would you say is better?
I mean, I've played them both. I've played them
If
both
we're saying
too.
better, Snipper Clips is way better. If we're saying more fun, I want to say 1-2 Switch.
I kind of want to say 1-2 switch as well.
Which-
Honestly, I'm going to vote Snipper Clips based on your descriptions there because 1-2 switch, it sounds like, can be really fun under the right circumstances, but you need those specific
not all the time.
circumstances. Whereas Snipper
Oh, yeah.
Clips
That's true too.
You
is
definitely-
fun.
It's hard.
As long as you have 2 people, you can have fun with Snipper Clips.
You can play Snipper Clips alone too. It
Right, but
sounds
then we're not talking
Yeah.
about multiplayer.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Snipper Clips is easier to play, but the multiplayer is not nearly as fun. Like, it's enjoyable to play with another person, but, like, wow, 1-2 switch is
Yeah.
really fun with
I
multiple
got to
people,
watch
but it's harder to play.
Matt or Micah swinging his hips around, I think.
Oh yeah.
With 1-2 switch, and that wouldn't have happened if I played Snipper Clips.
That's true.
So, like, we have another
You could've-
anonymous Python just joined us.
Oh,
Oh
baby.
no.
See, now the
so I
python
don't-
I'd actually be worried about because that's an animal that currently exists.
You
don't know
you
if
mean
Kraken
Krakens aren't
doesn't
real?
exist.
What the fuck is, like...
I suppose
they're
that's
real.
true. There's some weird
They're
ass
real
shit
in my
under the
dream.
ocean.
Okay, so let's each vote for one. Which one we want to keep? There's 5 of us.
Okay,
We
yep.
get 3 votes.
Okay.
I'm going to vote for 1-2 switch.
Same.
Snipper Clips.
Also for 1-2 switch.
Oh, there you go.
I don't even
Finally,
need to
I
vote,
get to
which is
dash
good,
someone's dreams.
because I don't know what I would have voted for.
That's a
so
really hard choice, to be honest.
It's really tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a strong dog in the race either way.
We got 1-2 switch on a Game of the Year list.
Oh my god.
Success!
Wait a minute,
So-
why wasn't I voting for that the whole time? What the fuck? I forgot my own bit.
Oh, wait a minute.
So, best
1-2
multiplayer.
switch got 3rd.
Right, it has all the numbers.
It's 3-1-2.
It's the best
It
multiplayer
wins. So that means it wins?
game. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
total numerical
Alright.
domination.
Alright.
So do we want to
Alright.
do our next couple? Since they should be kind of quick.
Yeah, I mean, we could fit them in if we wanted to.
We have
Wait.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
We
honestly,
wanna-
this is just kind of anecdotal. There's not going to be a lot of back and forth, and then we can just have Game of the Year as its own thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess we can just go through our list here. So, for these next, I guess it's kind of 4 things at once, but we'll probably do them
It's not going to
individually.
take that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do individual picks. There's no debate here at all. We're just individually talking about what we liked the most in these
Yep.
categories or whatever. So we have, first up, we're going to do best old game. So this is a game that you played this year that you've never played before.
That did not come out.
That
This
came
year.
out, did not come out this
That
year.
did not come out this year.
Ben's all like, shit. I picked a game I played before.
I did pick a game I played before.
That's
Well,
fine. I
you
don't
get to
think
be an
that
exemption.
necessarily means
Yeah.
that you have to play it for the first
Yeah,
time.
it's kind of
but-
just an opportunity to talk about something that was a meaningful part of your gaming experience this year that wouldn't fit on a Game of the Year awards otherwise.
Yeah.
All right, so who wants to go first?
I mean, Ron's
I can
first
go,
on the
because
list.
I'm
Ron's
first.
listed first, so.
Yeah. I kind of already talked about this, but for my best old game, I put Gravity Rush remastered. I know it's not this. I think it didn't come out this year for the remastered version, but the original game was a Vita game, so it was just Vita. They ported it to PS4 a couple years ago, I think. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I think I originally got it free on Vita when I first got a Vita a long time ago. And,
Frida on Vita.
Frida on Vita, and I didn't play very much of it at all because I didn't really realize what it was. I didn't really understand it, but
Right.
picked it up on a whim for PS4, and I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. So that's kind of my whole spiel on it.
Nice. The
Nice.
Python left, by the way.
What's that?
The
Py-
Python left.
the Python's
Oh,
got.
they did. Yes.
By Snick.
That's Nick.
All right, Chase.
My best old game was Hyperlight Drifter that I played this year.
I almost
Nice.
put that as well, but I played.
That's
it
the
so
only
early
old
in the
game I
year.
played.
Are you writing
Am
these down, Ron?
Oh, I probably should, huh?
Okay. Did you have anything else to say? Sorry, Chase.
No, just
Okay.
because I played Hyperlight Drifter this year.
Nice. All right, so I just want to let everyone know that my decision was terrible because, like, I played Pillars of Eternity, BioShock, the first BioShock, Wolf Among Us, Uncharted 1 and 2, all this year.
God damn.
And I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to choose between those.
Well, I mean,
But I'm gonna.
you kind
Go
of
for
just
it, sorry.
had an opportunity to talk about how all those games are awesome. So that
That's true.
There you go.
They're all
you just gotta
awesome.
pick your favorite.
I'm gonna say Wolf Among Us. I think that was the best one. Pillars of Eternity was a close second because I love Pillars of Eternity, but Wolf Among Us was really great.
God, I adore that game so much.
And I get to be
I'm
hyped
so excited.
and scared for this year.
That game got me to drop a lot of money on old comics.
Just think of the pairing you could have right here.
No, it's not actually.
I know. I was thinking he could put Wolf Among Us 2 for his most anticipated, which is the next category. Benjamin,
my best old game was Skyrim. I got it
Nice.
for the PS4, and
What?
I'm playing it mod for
Skyrim
the
just
first
came out
time.
this year. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Skyrim's come out every year for the last
Yeah, that's
6
true.
years, I think.
Game of the year, 6 years running.
Joel!
So my best old game is a game, I think it came out last year, and it came out in the format that I played it on this year first. Stardew Valley. I got that when it dropped
my
on
God.
Switch, and I put
Nice.
so much time into that game. That was basically
Okay,
the
so-
only thing I did with my free time after getting it for like a month.
I just started it, by the way, a couple weeks ago, Joel,
Yeah.
on Switch, and I couldn't stop playing it for several
It is-
days. I've delayed playing Assassin's Creed because I couldn't stop playing Stardew.
Yeah, no, that game prevented me from finishing Samus Returns
Really?
for a long time.
I'm
Like,
still in the
is
first season, but I'm towards the end
it's
of
just
it. So.
so satisfying to just like, even if you just don't have a lot of time and just want to pick it up and play out through a few days, it's just such a
Yeah.
satisfying.
There's just so much depth to it, too.
Yeah,
Like, you can
and,
do
like-
whatever the hell you want.
Right, yeah, you can kind of just decide, what do I feel like doing today, and some days I just spent like all day fishing.
Yeah, some days you can fish all day, some days you can just dig in the mines all day.
Yeah,
nice.
Some days you can work on your farm, yeah.
yeah, it's just all the different feedback loops for the different things you can do are really rewarding.
Yep. Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's our best old games for all of us.
Nice.
So we can
Yeah.
very quickly move into our most anticipated for 2018. And so
Ron will start.
I had a really rough time. Yeah, I had a really rough time picking this because there's 3 major games that I'm excited for next year, which are God of War, Red Dead 2, and Spider-Man. But I inevitably went with Spider-Man because I absolutely adore
God of War.
Insomniac Games, and I've never disliked a game they've made. So
Everything they've shown so far about Spider-Man seems like it's going to be great. It
Yeah,
looks like
exactly.
they might have
gonna be
finally
so good.
mastered making web slinging fun again, which it's been a while.
Exactly. Yeah.
Back since Spider-Man
Wow.
2 on PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah, since PS2. That's the last one I played. I
Yep.
think.
And I do have to say,
Yep.
like, for it to edge out Red Dead 2 as your, like Red Dead Redemption 2 as your pick is kind of
Awesome.
impressive.
Nice.
It's just I'm such a fan of them as a developer, and that's why it's hard for me to like.
Right on.
I love every Ratchet and Clank game. So anyway, Chase.
Mine was kind of a tough decision between 2 games. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown and Subnautica. But I ended up deciding on Ace Combat.
Yeah.
Nice.
I started writing it before.
Yep,
I-
I figured.
I have a friend who's a fan of, like, that sort of game style who's really excited about Ace Combat 7 too. Like,
Oh, I love it.
He's having us play
I
one of the
can't
old ones
wait.
this year because we've never played
Yep.
them before.
Ace
So
Combat
it's one of our
4.
old games. Yep.
and there aren't a lot of other
4
games
was my-
coming out that are like that, so I really hope it does well.
There aren't really any at all like
Right.
that, though. That's the thing. Like, that are arcadey combat flight sims like that.
Mhm.
There's just not many like that.
Yep.
And Ace Combat's been, like, my favorite and the best one that's ever come out.
Yeah.
And
And Subnautica only comes out in like 2 weeks. It's probably not going to be that different than what we already have to play either. So
no, not really, but I've been holding off playing
until it's
playing
all
it for
done.
quite a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes
I played it back probably, like, before PUBG came out, so, like, February of last year.
Mhm.
That was the last time I played it, because I knew they were coming out with a lot of new stuff in it, so
Yeah.
I've been
Alright.
holding off.
Matthew.
Alright, so I was like Ron, and I was going to put Spider-Man until I realized that Todd Howard might put out a game this year.
Oh,
So
God.
I'm putting down Starfield, which is definitely going to be the next Bethesda Game Studio game.
Now,
That's coming out this year.
what if Starfield just ends up being a code name for a PC remaster of Skyrim?
God damn it.
Wait, another remaster? They just came out with special edition.
this one's going to be a full remaster of the Skybox, hence Starfield.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's gonna
Just
be, yeah, it's gonna be 8K supporting.
Hey, if they,
No,
if they remake Skyrim
you know what?
game and put freaking Oblivion in it, I'd buy it.
I honestly,
Skyrim with all the
I would,
previous Elder Scrolls games
Yep.
embedded.
Just call it Skyrim. Nothing
Yeah,
else.
the Elder Scrolls franchise
No Elder
being
Scrolls.
rebranded as
It's-
the Skyrim franchise.
Skyrim.
It's funny because you see people online saying, "I want Skyrim 2, Skyrim 2."
Yep.
It's kind of
Like,
like
what?
it's kind of like how Persona started out as a Shin Megami Tensei
It's a spin-off of-
spin-off,
yeah.
and now has become the
It's
series
on-
that people
it's the
know
bigger
over
series.
SMT.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
Right.
That's
Benjamin.
pretty funny.
My most anticipated game is Red Dead.
Woohoo.
But in reality, it's Borderlands 3.
I mean, you could say Borderlands 3.
You said in 2018. You put that...
Well, I mean, it's,
Ben, I put down Starfield.
we
Okay.
don't even know that exists.
You're anticipating it in 2018. That doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. We can't predict the future.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I'm anticipating
I'm putting
Borderlands 3 in
Borderlands
2018.
I would play shit out of Borderlands 3, so I'm excited for that.
So I'm torn between two Kickstarter projects that are probably going to release in 2018. You never know with a Kickstarter release, but one of them has
About
been
that.
in early access for a while and is close to release, so I'm pretty confident it's going to happen. That's Overload. This isn't my. Yeah, thank you, Ron. Overload 6 Degrees of Freedom, which is a basically a spiritual successor to Descent and Descent 2 from the PC back in the 90s. Basically, you're flying a ship
sure.
around mines. You've got full up, down, left, right, back,
Yeah.
forth, whatever, full range of motion. Shooting mining robots. I've been playing what they've been releasing. They've been releasing levels and as they refine the game in like early access or whatever, and it feels pretty much exactly like a modernization of those games, and it's pretty much exactly what I wanted. Super excited for that. But even more exciting is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the Castlevania spiritual successor, I guess, since Konami has a death grip on that license. They got the guy who made all of the best Castlevanias, who is directing it, and the demo they put out last year was fantastic. Apparently there was another demo at like PAX or something that I hear is also good,
Yeah.
but hasn't been publicly released.
As soon as you said early access, I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah, no,
Or not early access,
Kickstarter, yeah. So yeah, provided that doesn't get super delayed again. It was originally slotted for 2017, but I don't think anyone expected it to hit.
Yeah.
Um,
I also have this kickstarted myself. So
I
I'll
am
get it.
really excited for it because I love the Igarashi Castlevania games, and this feels like it's going to be one of those.
And we're playing Symphony of the Night this year in our old games, so
Nice.
it should be fun. All right. That's it for that stuff. We'll move
So
on
next
to our
we
next
have-
individual category. Yep.
Next, we have guilty pleasure and biggest regretful purchase, or biggest regret, I guess we could say.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Wait, no Rugrats?
All right, Ron.
I thought that show was all right.
All right, Ron, go
Not
for
all
it.
grown up. All right, so guilty pleasure. I stuck specifically to games that came out this year, and to be honest, this year hasn't really been that bad. Like, there's nothing that's
Yeah.
like particularly bad that came out that I liked still, in my opinion. So what I have on the list, which is the only game I could think of in that category, is NBA Playgrounds.
Nice.
Matt and I beat it for you.
But except for you actually didn't play it, so.
I played it, okay? I had played a bunch of it too before you guys.
Now, to be fair, it just
jumped
says
on.
guilty pleasure. He could be just enjoying watching people play it.
Yeah,
That's true.
And be ashamed
Just
of
my-
There you go.
He was
Just-
stroking himself
that's
while
fair.
we were playing.
I was.
I'm pretty sure
I
he
had my hands
was,
in my
yeah.
pants.
He did, at all times. The whole trip to Seattle. Never left. Anyway. Chase, go for it.
So mine was hard too because I wasn't sure what to put. Mine wasn't from a game that was out this year,
That's fine.
but it's a party game. You know which one, Ron?
Genital jousting.
Yes,
Uh,
General Jousting. Just because it's hilarious to play after you've had a few drinks
that's
and
true.
playing with
That's
a group
fair.
of people.
What is
Mount
that?
Mount Your Friends is my preferred genital-based multiplayer game.
That's a good one too.
Best dong physics in video games.
So I'm
Nah,
actually
that's-
like super. Oh, never mind. We're good. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna be super sad that I forgot a game on the multiplayer section,
Oh.
and that was Human Fall Flat, but it came out
Oh.
in 2016, so we're good.
Oh, yeah, we're good. This is fine.
Matt.
All right, so my guilty pleasure it's technically not a 2017 game, but because it's FIFA FIFA 16, not FIFA 17, but FIFA.
FIFA.
Love FIFA. So much fun.
I mean, I don't know why that would be a guilty pleasure. Like, that's a very popular game franchise.
I know,
'Cause
but
he's
I don't want to
embarrassed to play
like
it.
FIFA. Like, I don't want to
I don't
like
wanna
sports
like-
games, but I do.
I don't want to like sports games.
I mean, if I had played like Call of Duty World War II, that could be on my list, but I didn't play it yet. So
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Ben.
My game is Doki Doki Literature Club.
What
Mostly
the fuck?
because I just feel weird if people see me playing it.
who's
Look,
gonna,
look this
who's
game
gonna,
up
who's
right
gonna
now.
put Hoonie Pop on their list? That's the real
What
question.
the fuck is this game, Ben? Ben.
Honestly, you
Buddy.
should play it though. It's great.
No, people have been talking
It-
about it.
Like, it's
It's
a
free
free game.
game.
Like, there's no barrier
It's
to
free. You
playing
should
it.
definitely play it.
It's supposed to
Oh,
be
it's
actually
free?
really
I didn't know
good.
that it was free.
Yeah, like-
Is this like for my phone? Like, what is this
No.
even?
No, it's a
PC
visual
game.
novel, but there's a pretty big twist to it that makes it like worth playing, even if you don't normally go for
Yeah.
visual novels.
It's not the standard visual novel game. Like, I hate visual novel games.
It starts out as
and-
the standard. It's like, be prepared for it to look like a standard visual novel game for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a twist, and that's all
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we
say.
literally can't say a whole lot about the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have 60,000 overwhelming positive reviews.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is incredibly popular
So-
for a reason. Like, it's a pretty fascinating game.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
But it's, yeah, I can understand why you put that in guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Alright, Joel, you gonna put Hoonie Pop down?
No, I don't feel any guilt about that. I very nearly put down a game that technically released this year, which is the Disgaea 5 port for Switch. Because I said I very nearly put it down.
Oh,
I played a ton of that. It came out right before I went on an international flight, and it was a really good time waster, and I spent way more. I always spend way too much time in those games doing completely meaningless shit and then get burnt out. And absolutely that's what happened this time. But I got over 100 hours of that meaningless shit in, so I feel like I got my money's worth. My actual biggest guilty pleasure is Free Cell, which I've played like 2,000 games of this year.
Oh my god.
That is kind of just an unwinding game for me. I'll pull it up while watching like LPs on YouTube or something because I don't need a whole lot of concentration to play it. But I have shared my high score. Like I never lose a game because there's very few games of that you can lose. But I've shared the number of games I've played with people, and they think I'm insane.
Just made me realize that I completely forgot about Picross S coming out this year.
Oh man, the Picross games are so good.
Yeah. So I put it on the game of the year so I can mention
Okay.
it briefly.
Cool.
So you can mention it.
Picross E8 for 3DS also came out,
Did it really? Okay.
Yeah. which is great because I had just finally finished E7.
Oh, nice. I'm almost done with S. I should beat it. Alright. So we're moving on. That
Biggest
is
egret.
it for that. Biggest regret. Biggest regret.
Biggest regret.
So mine's probably gonna be the same thing as Matt's. I bought Monopoly for the Switch like a fucking idiot.
oh yeah.
Because Matt and I one
The
night
cackle.
were like, "Oh my god, Monopoly's coming out! Let's get Monopoly and play that online tonight because it sounds really fun to play Monopoly, right?"
Were
So-
you
so Ron,
high?
Yeah.
Rod, you could go ahead and copy paste this right into mine because it's the same.
Because
Okay, honestly,
the
I
game
love
doesn't
fucking Monopoly.
work. And it's
I
actually
love
fun.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
That-
And it's really fun to play about half the game before the servers crash and you can catch
Yeah.
up.
Also, yeah. Like first of all, like, it's a fun game to play for a while, but usually not the full length of a Monopoly game. Second of all, that was a very, very bad version of Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yeah, extremely bad. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. Let's
It's
just
funny.
move on.
Just move on. Okay. So my biggest regret wasn't my purchase, but it was Ron's purchase. Wolfenstein 2.
Sad
'Cause you
sad
bought it for me.
Yeah.
I know.
It's
It
actually
was-
I, but go for it.
You also
I mean,
have to put
technically,
in
it's
the new
Wolfenstein.
Colossus.
Wolfenstein Roman numeral 2,
The new
Colossus.
Colossus, yeah.
I hate you guys.
If we're gonna be specific.
There, now it's
No, it
easy.
was. I only played a couple hours of it, and it just felt like a chore trying to play it.
To be honest, that's how I felt getting through the second half of Wolfenstein 1. So
I
didn't think that with Wolfenstein 1, though. That was.
feel like a
Oh.
lot of people came off of Doom 2016 into Wolfenstein 2 and just
Definitely.
had trouble getting into Wolfenstein 2 because it's similar enough to Doom that you want to play it like Doom, but different enough that you can't.
Well, I don't know, because I played the New Order after I played Doom, and I thought the New Order was alright.
Oh, really? 'Cause I
Yeah.
haven't heard. I heard that they're not that different from one another. Like
The
2 and New Order.
so my biggest issue is the level design. It's fucking impossible to figure out where you're supposed to go.
Okay, that is a complaint I've heard.
The HUD is
That's
awful. Fair. The HUD is awful, and the level design is just garbage. And the controls are kind of weird for some stuff, like the weapon wheel. Like Doom's was way better,
sure.
and Wolfenstein's isn't. And the addition of you can akimbo any weapon together is also kind of clunky the way they set it up. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that once in the game. In Wolfenstein.
Akimbo?
Yeah, no, I didn't do it at all.
I did it. I did it with assault rifles usually, but that was about it. Like, I never akimboed a sniper rifle and a shotgun, even though you could. But, like, that's kind of stupid that you can akimbo that.
Sure.
But whatever.
All right. Well, Matt, I think already kind of said that.
Yeah, Monopoly. Yep.
So, Benjamin.
Moving on.
Mine is
Where's
Injustice 2.
Oh.
The game was actually pretty fun. It's just a fighting game. Got bored of it real quick.
I've debated heavily getting Fire Emblem Warriors, and I knew that I would feel the exact same way, and that's why I haven't. Because I would want to play it, but I know that I wouldn't. Is the problem. But all right, Joel.
I've been trying to think, and I don't know that I have any big regrets this year. Like
No regrets.
I've definitely spent money on games I didn't get a whole lot out of, but they were always informed purchases. Like Snake Pass, which I bought knowing that I might not like it, but wanting to like give it a shot and support the devs. There've been a handful of games like that where it's like, well, I can afford to try this. I can't think of any games that I would have gone back and not bought knowing what I know now.
Sure.
Joel has no regrets.
No regrets.
I did buy a
All right.
I did buy a pretty big egret, but that's not the category. So.
All right.
Okay.
I think that's it for our individual stuff.
Yep.
So, do we want to summarize?
Yeah, let's recap.
All right. So, I'll do the first one. Best old game. I had Gravity Rush Remastered. Chase had Hyper Light Drifter. Matt had Wolf Among Us. Ben had Skyrim. And Joel had Stardew Valley.
For our most anticipated, Ron had Spider-Man. I had Ace Combat 7, Skies Unknown. Matt had Starfield, or whatever Bethesda Game Studio game it ends up being.
Oh, I thought Battle Galactica Star game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
Ben had Borderlands 3, and Joel had Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so for Guilty Pleasure, Ron said NBA Playgrounds, even though he never actually played it. Chase had Genital Jousting. I said FIFA. Ben said Doki Doki Literature Club. And Joel said Free Cell.
I almost should have said Jackbox Party Pack 3 on the Switch because I bought it while we were at PAX hoping we could play it, but we never got the opportunity to.
So
Because the Wi-Fi was terrible.
Yeah. Biggest regretful purchase, Ron said Monopoly. Chase said Wolfenstein 2. I said Monopoly. Ben said Injustice 2. And Joel lives like a king and doesn't regret anything he does.
No regrets. Right.
I have made nothing but good decisions in the past year.
That's the way you want to do it, man. All right.
All right. Now that we are 4 hours in, let's get on a little bit of break in. So we can discuss the very final category, which is Game of the Year.
Which is going to be another 4 hours. So.
Yeah, another 4 hours. That's yeah.
Buckle in.
Just kidding.
Just kidding.
God.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Justin.